Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, it's the Bruckner year. We know that. And there's been a lot of Bruckner issued. I mean, not as much as I thought there would be, but then again, Bruckner was not Mozart. He didn't write 700 pieces that everyone has to record. And a lot of it sucked, and some of it's been weird and strange, but I thought as a public service, I would talk about Celibidache's best Bruckner recordings. Because love or hate Celibidache, he had a special feel for Bruckner. He did. For his whole career, he really did. Not all of his recordings were great. In fact, some of them were abysmal, but some of them really are fabulous at his unspeakably slow tempos. I mean, it's like watching grass grow sometimes. But Bruckner is a composer. I mean, he's a special composer. If you have the cosmic momentum, you can get away with it. You can get away with being excruciatingly slow. And he does sometimes. And the place where he does most of all is on this set. This is the Sony Bruckner Celibidache set from Japan. It's Japanese. See, it's got all this Japanese all over it. And these, of course, are live recordings. Some of them were on video, like the Eighth and whatnot. I mean, they were original videos, and these are the soundtracks, I believe. I mean, I may not be 100% right, and Celibidache cookies know this all better than I do. I just know what the performances sound like. And the competition is, of course, that the EMI, Warner Bruckner things, which are going to be reissued. They're reissued, they're going to be remastered. I don't know, they're going to do something with them. They're going to, reverse all their digits or something to make them even more digital. I don't know what they're doing. But the bottom line is, in terms of performance, these live recordings have an electricity that the other set, doesn't always match in some of the performances. So we're going to just see what's in here. You get Symphonies 4, 6, 7, and 8, which are really the ones everybody cares about most of the time, right? The Romantic. Now, the Romantic is possibly the most radical of all of his Bruckner interpretations, but also one of his most successful. I remember seeing it live. I mean, he brought it to Carnegie Hall, and that was the only thing on the program. And everybody was like, what do you mean it's the only thing on the program? He's only doing Bruckner Fourth. Well, believe me, it filled up the program. It was like an hour and a half long. Bruckner's Fourth usually lasts around 65 to 70 minutes. Does that make sense? Somewhere in there? Well, this performance, let us look, lasts 84 minutes. And particularly the finale, which is 31 minutes. It's terrifying. But the scherzo's up to speed. It's 11 minutes. It's like, yeah, okay. He gets it. I mean, it's not insane. The same thing for the slow movement, 18 minutes. I mean, that's a little bit on the slow side. It's a couple minutes longer than normal, but it's not ridiculous. It really is. It's the outer movements that have a bigness, indeed a hugeness, which is really extraordinary. And this is also the fourth, one of the great performances in the EMI set. That's a fantastic Bruckner 4. It really is. And this is along the same lines. The coda of the finale is amazing, where instead of just having a steady tremolo all the way through, he has each note emphasized. It's chuk, 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 like a tremolo thing. It's really astonishing how powerful the whole thing is and how grand it becomes. And it's really very interesting because Bruckner's Fourth went through a metamorphosis over its 475 versions, all of which these idiotic Bruckner people are issuing as though they're all equally good. They're not. And in that span of time, the piece evolved from a first movement symphony with a somewhat lighter finale to a finale symphony. And this is the performance that really, really shows you what a finale symphony it really became. It's pretty amazing. So that's fine. Then we have the Sixth. Now the Sixth, he always did well. Again, it's slow, but it works. It absolutely works. And he doesn't make it ridiculously lumbering. The most sort of curious thing about this particular performance is the slow movement, the Adagio, which usually lasts around 16 minutes, and here it lasts 21. And that's long. That's a big extension. But again, it's an extremely beautiful movement, and he sustains it. It's all about how you sustain it and how you capture some kind of momentum that justifies what you're doing. And the playing is very beautiful. And that was recorded in Munich in 1991. And the Bruckner 4 was in 1989. Now, this is important because these performances from 89, 90, 91, which is when these all were, was when Celibidache and Munich were really in their prime. They were really getting the job done. There are later ones where he got even slower and even heavier. And, for example, the 7th in the Warner set, which is like the big disappointment, it's just hellaciously slow. Crazy, crazy slow. And dead sounding. It dies. But this one doesn't. This one is from live in Tokyo, which means the audience is going to be deathly quiet. Absolutely, totally spookily quiet. And the timings are, 24 minutes for the first movement. Ooh, that's slow. 27 minutes for the Adagio. Okay, that's been done. It's possible. 11 minutes for the Scherzo and 14 minutes for the finale. So again, there isn't 14 minutes for the finale and 11 minutes. It's about 2 minutes slower than they normally go. But compared to what's come before, they're positively frisky. And what's more, what really matters is that the orchestra never sounds exhausted. It doesn't sound like it's dead, like it's going nowhere. And so that's really terrific. And then the 8th here, let me see which is the 8th, was also recorded in Tokyo. And I think this was the one that was on that Sony video. I had these things on laser discs. Remember laser discs? And, and I haven't seen them in years. So and I didn't save them. So I can't be 100% sure, but it seems to be the right thing. And this 8th it doesn't matter whether it is or it isn't. It's glorious. It's absolutely glorious. It is extremely measured. The last 2 movements, 31 minutes for the Adagio, 30 minutes for the finale. Oh, baby. Really, 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 really slow, but powerful and sustained and really well played. The orchestra is on top of their game at Suntory Hall in Tokyo, and quite well recorded. So it's really a success. And this is if you're going to hear this stuff and you want to hear it, this guy at these tempos in this fashion, then this is the set to get if you can still find it. The Sony recordings. I really think that on the whole, they are superior to the Warner EMI ones, and they show him at his perverse and eccentric, but nonetheless compelling best in one of the very, very few composers who can tolerate what he wants done with him, wants to do. And this is totally different from those ghastly, even slower ones on Gramola with what's his name, Remy Ballot or whatever his name is. Dreadful, awful performances that sound like everyone's sight reading and they're ready to drop dead. This is different. This is a guy with a mission and a plan and an ideology, and he knows how to get the orchestra to do what he wants them to do in music that at least is amenable to that approach. So props to Celibidache, and it's Bruckner like you've never heard anyone else do it. It's special. And for that reason alone, I think it's worth hearing if you are a Bruckner fan and you have lots of extra time. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.